Okay, not exactly sure where I left off, but I think I had finished up on the boring. Just getting ready to break that down, and then I said I was going to make the bushings. So I've got the material in the lathe here to make the bushings. We're going to be making 4 bushings, 2 that'll go in there, and then 2 that they'd like to have as spares. So so I've got the, again, I've got the material chucked in the lathe and, punched a hole in it with a drill, and then all I'm doing now, you can see I've got a fairly heavy insert in here. Again, I don't know what it is, but it's got a lot of negative rake, but it's very aggressive. It really cuts. So you can see some of the, the way it, it really chews it up. So I like using that for, for roughing out. You can take really heavy cuts and it really, it really chews it up. So I don't know if I'll be able to finish with that. I mean, that's not a, let me zoom in there. That's not a bad finish, but that's like a, that's probably like a 50 or 60 thousandths cut. So, I don't know how well, these don't seem to do good finishing work. It probably will tend to get a little smeary. And again, this is a 4140 was what I went with on this, because they wanted something, kind of tough, because it's not going to be a hardened bushing, so we wanted something that's kind of tough. So I don't know what kind of finish, although, I mean, I did skin the outside. I just did that with a regular brazed on, carbide tool. It's not so terrible, but again, you're going to get that traditional, humpy and bumpy kind of finish on there. So whatever, I don't know if I'll be able to finish the whole job on there. I'll do the best I can, but I'm just coursing this out. So that's about it. So I guess when I'll get close, I'll bring you back. I'll just show you a few shots of me running this thing through. So that's what I'm getting on the coursing out with this. Again, it's a heavy insert, but with that chip breaker. Again, boy, these they know what they're doing with this stuff, man. Look at, I mean, it really does, curl a nice chip, and it's got that nice. Get rid of some of that glare there. It's got that nice chip breaker in it. It really, it really does peel away. Again, the surface finish, I guess, it's not excellent, and again, that's probably based on a 50 or 60 thousandths cut, but I don't know. We'll see. It might be good enough to get a decent surface finish on this. We'll see. If not, again, I'll switch over to something else. But again, on this material, I don't know how good a how good a surface finish I'm going to get, even with a regular carbide tool anyway. So anyway, I just wanted to show you the way it the way it goes, but it does cut very nicely with the with the inserts. They really do kind of have that down to a science. So okay, I'll bring you back. Okay, I did wind up switching to a regular brazed carbide in tool. Like that, those inserts are just too aggressive to to make finishing cuts. And of course, with this material, I don't know, for me it always finishes with the humps and bumps. I don't know, it's not like a 1018 or whatever, or even naturally leaded or whatever. I always get like a humpy bumpy finish on this. But I mean, I'm in there. I got my numbers. You can see, like I say, the finish is not awesome, but it's fine. I mean, it's a bushing, same thing on the outside. I've got that right where I want it. I put the inside 8 thousandths over. It's 3 inches plus 8 thousandths. because again, we're going to have a pretty good squeeze on this. The outside, the outside is allowing me just about almost 3,000 squeeze on this. Because again, I don't want to go crazy with it. I don't want to make it too tight a squeeze, because they'd like to be able to change these out, probably, you know, under adverse conditions, you know, where they'll be on a job in the field or whatever. And so that's why I'm making, this will be the first two. I don't know if I'm going to try to part this or if I'll set it up on the saw, and then there's enough here naturally to make two more. So I figured I'd make two and then, you know, flip it around or whatever and make the next two. So that's where we're at. So I've got the first two are machined to size. I'll polish this in just a little. I left enough here. You know, I'm probably a little more than 3,000s over right now, so I can polish this in, and that's it. Then like I said, I'm not sure. It's for me, that's a pretty thick wall to start parting, but especially on this material. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll start it and see how it goes. I can always switch it into the saw. We'll see how it goes. Okay, I'll bring you back. Okay, so I wound up parting them off. It's about a 1/2-inch wall. I don't know. This lathe, I normally wouldn't do that, but I figured, nah, what the hell, you know, because the way I've got the material spaced and everything, I figured, let me try it. So I was successful. When I part off, I notice most guys, when I see guys parting off, they're using you know, a dark cutting oil with a brush. I use a coolant, you know, like a you know, water, you know, soluble oil based coolant, because I figured, you know, the problem is that I'm, you know, creating a lot of heat and this and that, and you know, and it's easy to get that, you know, that little nozzle right into the cut there. But I don't know, maybe I'm all wet. I don't know, let me know. No pun intended. Well, maybe pun intended. Anyway, yeah, I was successful with that, and it's nice because it holds them square on the dimension and everything, so it'll be, you know, and I was able to pre-chamfer them on the one side. Now on this side, I'll just take them and I'll put them in, and I'll just face them and chamfer them here. I left myself like 10 or 15 thousandths extra, of course, in case it did jam up and I had to, you know, go to plan B or whatever. So that's two of them. Now I'll make the next two, I guess. Because all I have to do now is, well, I have to do the same thing, just continue the boring, you know, and the turning on the outside. So yeah, so I'll get on with that. On that oil versus coolant thing there, if you know, anybody has an opinion, let me know. Especially if you have a particular reason why, like if oil is better, if you believe oil to be better than the coolant. I don't know, I'm guess maybe for a friction reason or something, the sides of that blade. Well, that's another thing, because again, I use a regular high-speed steel parting bit. In this case, it's 1/8 inch. That's pretty much what I use all the time. Because again, I switch tools. This lathe, I think this is a 14 by 40 or something type of, it's an Asian lathe. It's pretty stout, but I mean, again, like everything else in here, including me, this thing has been used, okay? I run the same, it's not a genuine Dolores, but it's the equivalent of a Dolores. It's a CA size tool post, so I run that between the two lathes. They both have the same mount, the D6 mount, stuff like that. I try to keep everything the same, and I was able to successfully use the same CA size tool post on this lathe and that lathe. So that's why I have to switch. I do switch my tools between them. So I figure a happy medium is to keep an 1/8 inch parting tool on here. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know if this lathe would be comfortable with a thicker parting tool on this. Because it's a little, like I say, the reason I don't often part off on here is it gets a little squirrely in the first place. So I don't know if I want to try to jam an even wider parting tool into this thing as in the first place. I mean, I'm sure it'd be okay over on the TOS. I'm not so sure, how comfortable it would be over here. So that's why I seem to do that. This was relatively successful in what I would consider a relatively tough material. So that's pretty cool. But like I said, I'm just curious, please guys jump in if you have what your reason would be. Like I said, I see most people, I'm noticing when they part off, they're using oil, you know, a cutting oil with a brush. And again, like I say, if you if you have a reason, please jump in. All right. Anyway, let me continue, and I'll bring you back as I move along here. Okay, so that's I parted them all off, flipped them around to the other side, and faced and chamfered the cut-off side. So I'm all done with the bushings now, and as I say, I'm going to press 2 in. So I'll give you a shot of these before I do that. Okay, that's our 4 bushings completed. We're going to put 2 in now, and 2 will go to the customer that they can put in at a later time. So that's it. I'm going to get ready, and I'm just going to try to. I normally pull these bushings in. Again, here's the way this. I think I showed this already, but the way this finished up. Naturally, there's very little we could do about the bell mouthing of this. But again, we know our bores are nice and straight and true, and they came out, really well. So, so we got a pretty good interference fit on these, and this should go pretty well. I would think they should pull in there nice and tight. And again, we're really the one good part about this is the wall thickness on this. I mean, this is almost going to be a 1/2-inch wall on these, so there's quite a bit of of wearing surface there, so that's pretty good. So let me go about setting up, and I'm going to pull 2 of these in. I'll bring you back. Okay, we're all set up here. I'm just you can see the bushing is here. This is just an aluminum, insert here. Of course, the cylinder is here, threaded rod here. I've got it taken up pretty tight. All I do is I just take it and I just gently knock it in to start it, just so I, because again, I'm always by myself, so I don't, this way I don't have to try and hold the whole setup. I just pass the rod through with some washers and the nuts, hold everything up, and I get it started, and away we go. So here I am, I'm just squeezing it in. And it's going in pretty well. I mean, it's pretty easy going. I don't think you'll have any problems at all. Again, the customer, requested this I not use any retaining compounds or anything like that on here, because again, they want to be able to change this out themselves. And I know there's sometimes, again, if I don't know, I'm sure I've mentioned it, these are not ideal conditions for them. These machines are, usually in some pretty awkward places, and it's, heavy work and stuff like that. So it's, they don't want to have to fight when they want to switch these out. So, all right. looks like we're gonna make this in one shot. It's only a little over 1.5 inches, so there we go. There we go, that's it actually, it's good now. I'm just gonna, what I do to try to get it to the seat is I just take in this case, a copper hammer, just gently, you know, that's all, just while it's still under a little tension. That's it, it's seated, we're good. All right, so that's it. I'll back this off now, take the pressure off. There it is. You can see it sags. And that's it. I'll break this down, pull this out, set it up exactly opposite. We'll be pulling this way. I'll bring you back. I'll show you how I do the other side. Same thing. Put the cylinder up against here, pull the other one in. Okay, we're set up on the other side now. You can see we got the same thing, just opposite now. Or this is the bushing going in. So we've got the cylinder set up over here, and again, just the same thing, just a little bushing type thing to stepped collar bush, just to pull this thing in. Just quick, turn those out of aluminum or whatever, and that's it. Again, I just gently tap it just to start it. Try and get it as square as you can. Take up the rod kind of tight and push. I'll kind of zoom out here a little so you can actually. Yeah, this way you can see it a little bit better. There we go. All right, let's see how we do. There we go. And there we go. That's good. Nice, a fair amount of resistance, but you know, again, it's not like we have to kill it to get it in there. It's just going in pretty smooth. Yeah, it's pulling in nice and square, very smoothly, no galling. You know, you don't want them so tight as to gall them naturally. Okay, I think we're probably just about there. And again, I just take it, and again, just to help it seat. And that's it, just seat. Yep, that's it, we're there. That's all. Probably got my fat head in the way. All right, that's it. We are good. That's it. Now we release. And that's pretty much it. Pressure comes off. And all we do then is we just very simply spin off one side. Again, you can break it down later. But break this down. There's a nut, a couple of washers, and what I do, again, I just, any old piece of, again, either a soft steel or in this case it's aluminum, that just, you know, that fits in there nice with a, you know, with a nice, oh boy, a step bushing, just so it pulls it in nice and evenly, that's all, and smoothly without, you know, you don't want to damage it. And that's it. Pretty much. We're about done with this. I'll bring you back. Okay, so I guess that's pretty much going to wrap it up. We've got the bushings pulled in. Everything went in real nice, as you were able to see, both sides, or should I say top and bottom. Let's see, this is actually, this part here is the bottom, and then that's the top. So this is the top and the bottom. So that's it. I'm pretty much all done here now, at least in the shop. That's done. Got the extra 2 bushings for the customer. I even broke down the clamping system I had on the horses, which really worked very well. It seemed to be almost chatterless with this system. Normally something like this I would have it attached, you know, kind of welded to the forklift on it. This seemed to actually work better, aside from the height. That, you know, these are low, these horses, but I don't know, maybe the mass of the part, I'm not sure, but this seemed to work out pretty good from a, you know, from the boring standpoint. It you know, it was very trouble-free seemingly on this. So anyway, that's about it. Next step I guess will be tomorrow to load this up and get it back to the customer. I will try to get a shot, get some shots of the, not that I'll be involved in the installation, of course, but their mechanics will do that. But I'll try to, when I bring this back, I'll ask if it's all right if I take a few, a little bit of footage maybe of the machine itself, or maybe I can just grab some stills and incorporate them in the end of this. Like I said, I'd like to just be able to take a little bit of video of it, and maybe I can explain where this goes. And I'm not actually sure what the piece is called. I'll inquire about that as well. So anyway, that's about it. So let me see what happens, and hopefully I'll get back to you. All right, this is just a quick thing. I'm here at the customer's place. This boom is essentially going to be what you see here, this piece. It's for a much larger machine than this one, but essentially the function of it will do exactly what you see this one do. It goes over this chain, or in some cases, like the machine here, it's a wheel. You see, this is a much larger machine. I assume it's going to go on something more along the size of something like this, but you can see essentially what that boom is going to do. It's going to come down and with that arc in it, and it's going to go across either the wheel or the chain. Like I said, this is obviously, I guess, a smaller machine, with a much smaller boom arrangement, but essentially that's going to be the function of that boom piece. So some of them are, again, with this chain type, and some of them are with this wheel type, and you can get an idea of the dimensions of these things. They're just these huge, and you can see these huge gearboxes and hydraulic drives on these things. I think they're based on 50, and well, here's an excavator sitting right next to it, and essentially it's about the same type of a platform. And you can see why I say when these things are running, it's just, I guess you can feel the earth move literally. So that, again, that just to clarify as to what, I just wanted to give you some sort of a picture as to what that boom thing really does. And again, there's a lot happening there. There's different pivots, and it, I guess it twists and lifts and turns and stuff like that. So anyway, so that's about it. Like I say, I just wanted to give you an idea of what this thing does, because I've done a few of these pieces, and I just wanted to let you know what it is and what it does. So anyway, that'll wrap this up. I just wanted to show you. So that's pretty much it. So until next time, remember, as some famous guy once said, everybody polka.